How's it going, guys? It is the Wolf Behind the Blood, and welcome to what seems like the first video in forever. Mainly because it's been summer, and I don't have internet still, and I'm kind of using the school's computer, which I'm not even sure if it's going to be uploaded. Half the things are blocked on YouTube. So, I decided to start off this video with a countdown. I think I've done like a couple of them, but they all turned out to be shit. But, in the end, it's the countdown that really... Whatever, let's just start it off. Okay, so this countdown is going to be the top 5 things I learned when moving. For those of you who don't know, I used to live in Kansas, Salina, Kansas, until I moved down here to Pottsboro, Texas. It's a smaller town, that's for sure, and it did take some getting used to, and these are the top things I've noticed since moving schools, towns, states, etc. So, number 1 being, just because the school is smaller doesn't make us any less dangerous. What do I mean by this? Well, I have experience from Central. Central was a very big school. That was my old school, and we had over 2,200 kids there. The school I have now is around 400. So it's very smaller, very smaller, what? It's a lot smaller than my old school. And trust me, at my old school, 2,200 kids, you best believe, sir, there's some douchebags. And these kids found it necessary to do the dumbest of things for God knows why. We don't know. We just did it. There would people who would just sucker punch someone in the back of the head because, we don't know. It's just what we do. We have a thug life. I just found out on the internet not too long ago that someone I used to know got in trouble for shooting a gun and evading the police and trying to hide the gun in a Dillon's bathroom. Dillon's was a grocery store, by the way. So, yeah, it was really weird. But however, while that didn't happen at school, a lot of things happened at that school every other day. Every other day something happens. You hear somebody getting in trouble, getting kicked out, getting expelled, getting suspended, dropping out, all that good crap. However, here it's like once a week. If even that sometimes. Sure, I might miss a lot. I'm sure people get in trouble a lot. But it's definitely not heard of as often as my old school. Apparently, just because that happens doesn't make it any less dangerous. What I mean by this is that apparently before I came to the school that I'm at now, someone, like another student, legitimately poisoned another kid. Or tried to poison him. Either way, someone was going to get poisoned. And this was before I came to the school. You'd be surprised on how hard it was for me to even stay calm during lunchtime. Because I was the kid who literally started school on Halloween wearing all black clothing with my long hair. And everyone was just looking at me like I was going to blow up the school because someone made fun of my shoes. Which, in all honesty, I mean, God, kid poisoning another kid, that doesn't sound too bad to some people. But the worst we had at our school was the silent white kid who would blow up the school because someone made fun of his shoes. And while that wasn't me, we did have someone who was like that. His name was, well, probably shouldn't say a name. His name was Seth. I'll give you the first name. And he was that big, quiet kid. Not really quiet, but he was something. And trust me, he was a big guy. Very strong. A lot of people were scared of him. And we were in math class. We were playing a game called Math Knockout, where you answer an equation, get your name put on first place, second place, or third place, and depending on whatever ranking, you get a prize. He got his name up there, and this other girl, Brittany, gets her name up there, and when you do that and the board is full, you can knock somebody's name off the board. So she took Seth's, and he was upset. Like, literally, by the end of the game, he takes his pencil, snaps it, look at her dead in the eye, and say, "That was your fucking neck." So, you can imagine that the class was baffled. Yeah. We even had a kid who came to school just as the Grim Reaper. Like, I crap you not. Like, they had the hood, they had the scyther just sitting there walking around the halls all casually. And nobody really said anything as if it was a normal thing. Everyone just kept walking by like, hey, what's up? I think the most awkward thing about it is that, like, everything about it resembled death except for the shoes they wore. They had those bright pink light-up Skechers. So it was really weird when it's just the Grim Reaper, the bringer of death, and then, like, you just look down and there's little flashes and lights from their Skechers. Alrighty then. Number 2 being exposed to middle schoolers suck. While I was in Kansas, I didn't have to deal with much middle schoolers. Like, I don't think I ever had to, honestly, because I never lived near any. I never had to expose myself to any. Just, point being, I didn't have to deal with any middle schoolers when I was in high school. And now, here, I ride the bus to school, so I'm around elementary schoolers, middle schoolers, all that crap. Not good. They are annoying. We got little kids, like 12, keep in mind 12-year-olds, 7th graders or whatever. They're sitting there talking about sex, doing drugs as if they understand a goddamn thing about it. And you're just sitting there thinking, like, just helplessly watching their innocence leave them forever. I mean, heck, at this rate, give them a few more years, we're gonna have 7th graders shooting up heroin and committing their 4th murder by the time they're 15. Number 3. This third thing I learned in Texas, while it might sound a little racist, it's not untruthful. Other races, not likely. So one thing I also noticed when I came to the new school is that literally just about everyone was either white or Mexican. Mexicans are pretty likely. Literally nobody else. By the time I was there, there was only one kid who actually looked black. Everyone else said that they were, and yet they didn't. It was kind of like that Dwayne Johnson in the past where they say they're black and you just kind of like, no, you're not. That is whiteness. But we got like 3 now, and that means something. But my point being is that when you go to school all the time and you're just outside the skirts of a small town and you're not used to them anymore, you've actually grown out of it. And then you just so happen to go to a public grocery store like Walmart, and then you see them everywhere, like a good amount of them, and you're just kind of like freaking out because it's been so long since you've seen a freaking dark-skinned person. Like, oh my god, we're back to the 1940s. Number 4, I learned that, speaking of stores, is that stores have a lot of better choices. Like, they're not any bigger, because like the Walmart here in Denison, which is a town just outside of me, is the same exact size of Salina, and Denison is a bigger town than Salina, I think. Same size maybe, but a lot of different places. Point is, same size store, so much more stuff. There's so many things I've seen at that store that literally Salina never had. There's more hats, more shirts, more clothes, more, they got a Batman and Pokeball piggy bank. They got Pokemon slippers, and I don't even wear slippers, but the fact that they're freaking Charizard and Gengar slippers makes it more than enough that I want them, just to admire them. Don't know. It's you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You just see something on the shelves and you're just kind of like, I don't have any use for it, but the fact that I don't have it makes me want to have it. I'm sure everyone can relate to that, right?